Hey, welcome back to my channel. I am going to talk a little bit today about one of the main things that people were asking me questions about on my last homeschool video. So I did a video, I'll link it down below if you guys haven't seen that one, where I talked about how I plan and like a broad view of what our curriculum is. So one of the main things that people were curious about was our language arts curriculum. And I will say the way that we set up our homeschool is probably a little bit different than the way most people set up their homeschool. We start in January and then we do like anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks on and then 6 weeks off, and we do that 3 times. So that means that we are out of school, not having school on a hiatus in like late spring when it's really nice outside and we can really go spend time outside. We can plant our garden, that sort of thing. And then we're off again late summer when we just want to be outside swimming, and then we're off again in between Thanksgiving and New Year's, so we get the whole Christmas season off and able to like go do fun stuff. So our curriculum that we have chosen to use for language arts is called Progeny Press. It is a study guide companion, and it goes with just like a basic classic literature book. We probably have, I don't know, 15 or 20 of these things. We have gone through a lot of them. We have been using them now for 6 years, I think, 6 or 7 years. And we have really, really enjoyed them. So each book you'll see, I don't know if you can see the bottom little corner here, it will give you a grade range. So we have used these starting in either 2nd or 3rd grade. So kindergarten, pre-K kindergarten, and 1st grade, we work on learning our letters, learning the sounds, then learning how to actually read. Then we work on reading comprehension. And then once we are to a point where they have learned how to learn, now they can actually jump into the good part and they can start reading the literature themselves. And that is what this curriculum is for. So if you're looking for what we do for younger, like how to actually learn how to read, I can go over that in a separate video. This is just going to cover what we do from anywhere from 2nd, 3rd grade all the way up through high school. So the first thing that I will do whenever I am trying to plan our school year is I will look at I'll pull out all of the books that are that specific grade range, that whatever kid I have. So some of these books are like 1st through 3rd grade, some are 4th through 6th, 4th through 7th. The high school age ones are 9th through 12th, so those are kind of any time in high school, which is really nice. So I will pull those books out and I will look at what sort of things are my kids really interested in right now. What books do I think that they would genuinely enjoy reading, and what books do I think that they would really connect to the characters in? So all of these books are also books that I have read. I want to make sure that I know what is going on in these books before I ever hand them over to my kids. But we will go through and look at what in that age range is most beneficial for my child at that time. And those are the 3 books that we will do throughout the school year. I really, really love to kind of group them together if at all possible. So if I have one kid that is reading Little House on the Prairie, then I might have another kid that's reading like Old Yeller, or is reading, I think Where the Red Fern Grows was the one that my son was reading at that time. That way we are kind of living like the same basic, it's not the same time period, but it is the same like basic way of life, right? So like living out in the country and hunting and all of those things are going to coincide. And I really like to do those together if at all possible. It's not always possible, but if at all possible. That way, like what we are watching as a family, or reading as a family, or listening to as a family, or places that we are going as a family can all kind of work together and will really speak to what that individual child is learning and what the family is learning at the same time. So I really like to weave our curriculum into our lives as much as possible, because we don't have just a set schedule of this is what time we're doing whatever. So that's kind of how I do that. So once I have the actual books figured out that I want each individual child to work on, the next thing that I will do is go through and write down for that study guide, where that one is, for this study guide. One of my daughters is doing Bridget's hair with you right now, but she will go through and I will go through and write down each of the actual assignments that kid is going to do. A setup where you read, and then for the next several pages are things that you're going to do that are only going to pertain to that chapter that you've read, those chapters that you've read, or the chapters previous to that. So we might do one day chapters 1 and 2. So all they would do for language arts on that first day is read chapters 1 and 2. And then the next day they would come in and do their vocabulary for chapters 1 and 2. And then the next day they're going to come in and do whatever is next. So specifically in this book, it would be a point of view and working on understanding point of view and working on perspective. So there's some days that they're only going to read, and then there are some days that they are going to write entire essays. And that is just going to vary from day to day. So I like to make sure that they have this paper and are fully aware at the beginning of the week what that week is going to look like. If we have anything that we know that is going to keep them from doing that, they can kind of plan out. We do school Monday through Thursday, or just 4 days a week, and they can kind of plan out. As long as the next Monday they have all of their work completed, that's all I really care about. They are practicing time management all on their own, which is really nice. My kids are to the age and have done this long enough that they are able to kind of do that. Now at the beginning, I have to work with them, and that's understandable, I think. But where my kids are at now, that is what they're doing. So we like to start, my first book that I always start with is Frog and Toad Are Friends. I really, really like Frog and Toad Are Friends. And then we just kind of go up from there. My oldest child, I only have one son, who is in high school now, has finished multiple of the high school aged books and has moved on to writing his own books. So he just finished his 4th novel and is kind of sending it out to have people read now, which is really fun. So he has moved on from this. My daughters, who are not as interested in writing, when we get up into high school, will move on to books like Jane Eyre and Pride and Prejudice, and I'm super, super excited about jumping in to those with them. So that is how Progeny Press language arts curriculum works. I really, really love it. I have been such a great fan. It not only allows my kids to read really great literature from the very beginning, but it has really helped them to dive deeper into those books. It connects scripture into it. It connects grammar into it. It connects science into it. We have had entire recipes that have come from these books that we have now worked into our family stuff. So it's been a really, really great resource for us. And I have just loved, it has really helped my kids grow a love for reading really good literature at such a young age. So that is all I have on Progeny Press. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.